Hi everybody, I'm here on a sidewalk. I love violence, and you do too. For thousands of years, we've paid to see things fight, and since I had a ton of muscles back in 22 and I ate some eggs this morning, let me go through the roster of one of the most dangerous franchises ever. So Kirby is a series full of eldritch horrors that can only be tamed through gas station snacks. If there is one series where people fail to recognize how dangerous their characters are, it's probably Mario or Popeye and then Kirby, but you get the point. Despite the appearance, Kirby has gone through a lot of scary and dangerous little creatures. I could probably beat most of them. Now that's a far-fetched claim, but let me explain. One thing extremely important to note about the Kirby characters is the size of them. Kirby is confirmed to be a mere 8 inches tall. At most, I'm gonna say he's a foot tall. This fact in specific changes a ton of my perspectives on if I could beat a number of these things, and is very crucial in this ranking. To give an idea, I'm 6'4", and that alone means I'm nearly 10 Kirbys tall. A lot of these guys are getting punted into orbit. Anyway, what do we consider an enemy in this situation? Well, in my eyes, every Kirby character is an enemy. All 1,100 that the fan wiki lists. All of them will be included on this ranking, with some technicalities that I'm sure a number of you are gonna get very upset at me over. And one last thing I want to chuck into the rulebook, I'm not gonna cover every variant. We got some enemies that are identical but produce different elements, like this one can shoot ice, one can shoot fire. You get the idea. There's also larger versions of enemies. We're not covering them in depth since they're virtually the same, just slightly harder. I feel the same about them, and there will be no allied versions of the characters. Kirby's domesticated Waddle-Doos are far more of a concern than the ones found in the wild. For these fights, I'm gonna consider a fighting arena and weapons as factors that could determine my victory. If I could pick weapons, I would have like a handgun, a dagger, or some sort of shield, but I do think there's not many instances where weaponry is the game changer, so it's not gonna come up that much. I'll be throwing hands when applicable. Good example of this is Tier 1 non-existent diff. It doesn't matter where, when, or with, or what, I'm winning. There will be a decrease of soft marshmallowy friends at my feet. I'm gonna pile drive a Waddle Dee, I'm gonna throw sand into the eyes of a Waddle Doo, and the only thing the squeaks are gonna be throwing is up, because I'm gonna be punching so hard that they explode. In my eyes, the easiest one to take down is Nutty, the most prominent enemy to give the sleep copy ability. Nutty's traits include being sleepy and not having arms. This creature will not be surviving my hands. Other standouts of this tier include enemies so innocent and cute, I would hesitate. Like the Woofy species, those cute little guys who, if given the chance, I would spare. Otherwise, I'll do what I have to do. Dribbly's gotta go as well. It didn't have to be this way, but it also did. We also have Gip and Glunk and Boxin and Gif, Chili and Chip and Brippo and Bronto Burt. And who can forget Unidentified Flying Object? The more I went through this segment, the more I realized a lot of these were just too easy. But like Kirby, I look at these enemies and I smile, knowing that Kirby would do the very same, without hesitation consume these creatures and absorb their very essence. Also, I ran out of unique ways to explain that I was ending the lives of creatures that look like this, so we can lightning round it. So here's a collection of everyone who's gotta go. This is where I realized you could make a quiz show asking people if these are Pokemon or Kirby enemies, and these are just some of the ones I can say with full confidence are meeting an early grave. There's still a few more I want to talk about. Using Kirby's height changes so many of my opinions. You'd think Rick, Kine, and Koo are giant animals, but no, just some kind of bigger woodland creatures. In a 1v1, I think Rick's doing the most physical damage, and Kine is going to be doing the most mental because, you know, it's a scaly fish. That freaks me out a little bit. Not only is Escargoon a legless snail man, but I don't really like him. Just want to enjoy the southern accent King Dedede, not this OC. I want him gone. I will also be fighting children to increase my win rate. I will also be fighting their parents. And to be honest, their whole town is going down. Aren't these guys like the same ones from Adventures of Lolo? I just remember this from like one of those Gamers Edition Guinness World Record books. I got it at a Scholastic Book Fair. It doesn't matter. They look like cough drops. I'm winning. What are you gonna do? Paint me? Actually, that might be bad for my eyes. This is a human child. They are not beating me. Lastly, I'm gonna get some shit for this one. Galactic Nova. Nova is a giant wish-making entity responsible for Marks getting more powerful at the end of Milky Way wishes in Superstar Saga. A good comparison is Shenron from Dragon Ball. The difference is Nova looks like that. So assuming that I can summon Nova, I would simply wish for it to die, or wish for the power to end Nova. This is a loophole and I'm indifferent. I think you get the idea. I'm eyeing these little guys down and giving my verdict right away. I'm sure that at least one of these guys has mythical secret powers, but let's not worry about that. Next up is Tier 2. nothing bad will happen. This is the part where I realized I need to be realistic about my strength. Kirby has mixed power scaling. I look at Gooey and initially I feel confident, but in actuality, no, Gooey's gonna kick my ass. The funny thing about Kirby is that there's a lot of enemies that are squishy babies made of cuddles and cotton candy, and I'm simply gonna chuck every single character I skip in the remainder of this video. They're just gonna go straight here. Because I was starting to get to things like Beatrix and Newpun, and I realized there's like 700 random one-off enemies or minor characters across the series who are creatures I can say with full confidence are most likely doomed, but have a chance of harming me to some extent. But if I had even like 10 minutes of prep time to head to Tractor Supply or something, I'm convinced a majority of these freaks will lose to me wearing nothing but shin guards and holding a snow shovel. Especially all the woodland creatures. A couple years back, a groundhog chewed up my car wiring. I have slain small woodland creatures before. I will do it again. Spiny and Storo are mice. They're not beating me unless they climb up and like poke me in the eyes and tie my hypothetical shoes together so I trip and fall. I'm probably fine. Funny whip! Dynablade is simply a large bird. I'm really tempted to punch it in the face. It looks very punchable. I want to punch this bird. I'm counting this as a loophole, but Kirby's Mass Attack's main premise is that Kirby gets split into 10 smaller Kirbs. They could have made this a Pikmin game and they chose not to. So this fight is going to be based on the quantity of Kirbys. Otherwise, they can't fly or inhale, so these are essentially bugs. I'm stomping bugs. I just gotta be careful with it. And I'm also curious what sound Kirby would make if he was slammed into a brick wall. I'm assuming it'll sound like one of those sticky hands you get from an arcade. Oh boy, the basic enemies with small weapons. Sir Kibble, Blade Knight, Sword Knight, even Jammer Jab. All these types of little guys with little weapons. They're not winning, but I'm not guaranteed to make it out without injuries. Again, shin guards are going to be the difference here. Otherwise, we are shattering their hypothetical kneecaps. At first, I saw the customer service guy and went, ah, nuts, a regular guy. I'm not used to not punching down. And then I saw his full design from the final episode of Right Back At Ya. I'm good. Frog, squid, this little flying baby idiot. It belongs in a dryer. I'll be chilling. Broom child, tiny dweeb, snowman, clay squid, big beetle, penguin, stabby caterpillar, essentially just a baby elephant. I'm about to be put on a list, dude. I just gotta avoid the big bag of doom and I'll be fine. Brobo is a creature that's only weak to Kirby as a pinball. If Kirby is a squishy marshmallow friend, I feel safe assuming Brobo isn't too strong or durable if this thing being launched into it is fatal. Tarnanza has a stupid haircut. That's enough of a motive for me. I would bully him in middle school. This is just a middle-aged man on vacation. What is this one? What are you supposed to be? A sentient box. Boomerang baby boy. This bug with a helmet, it lacks arms, and the helmet covers a mouth for biting. I look at Box Boxer, and it gives me the type of vibe of someone I can talk down and get a drink with. He looks like my great uncle. More like, kind of biggerish edge. In the lore, Elflin is half an alien, in which this is the pacifist and kind-hearted half. As such, I'll be taking a route where I gain their trust and do what I gotta do. Nothing bad will happen. I just have a feeling, you know? This is a Looney Tunes-ass opponent. Silly Dillo is silly dying. Isn't this like just a flying bomb guy? Just gotta dodge him once. I'm more concerned about the journey to get there, to be honest. Like, Return to Dreamland had all those levels before Sphere Doomers. I'm more concerned about that. Is this hair or an eyelash? Basically a drone. Big fish, bigger fish. Mr. Duder is a magical bowling pin. I will be grabbing Mr. Duder by the head and slamming him into a rock. Paintra's the equivalent of a nice receptionist at a pottery store. I'm going to hospitalize them. This is just a small alligator. A baby one, even. Just gotta hope I can, like, swing it by its tail or something. Not much else to it. Tier 3. Well, hold on, bucko. This is the tier where if I was told I was gonna have to fight the respective creature, I'd flat out say, well, hold on, bucko. Good set of examples. All the fire-based enemies. They are soft, they are squishy, but they shoot fire. And fire is bad. We also have enemies that are simply rocks. Not much I can do here, but if we're near a body of water, I'm assuming I could chain them down here. I'll need a large rock-breaking tool in these situations. We got a bunch of mischievous little zappy guys. Basic enemies with small spark powers are being included here. Nothing too concerning, like we got a sentient outlet and a jellyfish as some examples. but still nothing to joke about. Enemies here can also have too inconsistent of variables to put them any higher or lower, as the location and situation can massively disadvantage either of us. Like, by himself, Doc would be way lower, like all the way down to tier 1. But with prep time and the chance to build larger mechs or machinery, no, that instantly puts me in a far worse spot overall, and we can't have that. The only reason Adeline's here is because A, she seems like a nice child, which is horrible mental game trickery, and B, she is far more masterful with weaponized paint. I still feel pretty good about my odds. I'll also be considering Grand Mam the same as an armored child. In terms of psychology, weaponized children are very powerful for guilt tripping, so I genuinely don't want to fight Nago. Just a friendly cat pal, he deserves to be spared. Prince Fluff, even in Yarnland, I feel pretty good. I win otherwise. Assuming he's only a yarn creature, I'm winning. Both Poppy Bros require that I run at them to avoid the slowly thrown bombs that I would assume that's all they're capable of. I might lose my hearing, might even be worse, but I just gotta get the jump. I just gotta jump while wait until he goes into a dark alley and then take his little microphone life. Scarfy freaks me out a bit, but you just gotta squash it before anything bad happens. They're pacifists until provoked, so once again, jumping it will be the most viable option. Bernard has a gun, but his name being Bernard is actually a disadvantage. According to a US baby name graph I found online, along with the fact I haven't met or heard a single person named Bernard under the age of 50, along with the obscured eyesight, this tells me that despite having a gun, I have better odds. I should be fine. Nah, trust me on this one. I just feel good about it. A big magic bee, but you know what? I just feel good about it. What do I do about this? It's just clothing. How does it exist? Is it magic? Am I fighting the cape? I could beat a cape. Because of the height difference, I'm basically fighting a freaky carpenter. This is a tire. I think I'm winning. I mean, he can turn basically anything into yarn. Assuming I get the yarn powers like Kirby does, every yarn fight is gonna be as easy as Epic Yarn. Epic Yarn is an easy game. I mean, sure, he's magic, he's evil, I guess, but he's yarn. Ew. Clay creature, the only thing I'm concerned about is my color being drained out. I'd assume that's a bad thing. I only win if there's an axe or some source of fire. All he does is drop apples. Also, it's a tree. Also, there are multiple trees. I don't feel good about the mechanized tree. Well, he actually can go later on the list. Just a seal. I'm fighting a small seal and helping it go as well. Bubbles are these bouncy ball enemies. I feel like I would accidentally hurt myself chucking it and then it bounces back at me. President Haltman looks very fightable. This is a stubby billionaire in his 50s with children that hate him, but only if he doesn't have the money to buy defenses do I think I win. That's what happened in Robobot. I'll have to play the long game. I'll have to move up his ranks and eradicate his stupid skeleton from the inside out. Or outside in? I don't know. I think Grand Doomer is more likely to give a disease than actually harm me. It looks like it has some sort of contractable collection of diseases. If I saw Coily Rattler in person, my flight mode would probably kick in. It just weirds me out. Yatagane is the equivalent to one of those robot dogs from the 2000s with knives duct taped to its head. Very small ninja, but it has hops, might get a headshot. Same goes with Surika. I'm just gonna say Surika. This is a cactus. I should not punch the cactus. And of course, who can forget about Big Blucko? It's just another rock. Tier 4. Nah, I'd win. I don't feel great, but I still imagine a bunch of scenarios where I'm the winner against these funny fellas. I think this in specific is where you guys are gonna freak out and be like, no, Choopo, you can't beat Landia. I need you to have faith in me. Bandana D isn't too bad, other than the little guy having an unlimited supply of spears, but I think it indicates how terrifying the Ds can be. The Roach is the head squeak. I'm just gonna assume that automatically makes him stronger. I'm also gonna put Dark Nebula here. The final fight was easy. I beat it when I was 6. They're going down. It seems like a trend that I keep struggling against the more mechanized things or people with more modern technology, and Susie's no exception, especially when she's got a massive mech on standby. I don't know what to expect. Nightmare is the size of a regular person, but he can only be defeated with a Star Rod. I have deemed this as cheating. He is cheating. My logic is that if they're Knights of Meta Knight, they're at least decently strong, but they're also short. I just have a good feeling about it. I just question how harmful these elements are gonna be. I'm more worried about the fire one, but I haven't even bothered memorizing their names. I wish Star Allies was a better game. This is a bear. A small bear, but a bear. I worry because of the final meal ability. Just the ability to instantly cook anyone nearby horrifies me, and it's painful. Super Mario writhes in pain when it happens to him, What chance do I have? I'll be honest and say this guy's beaten my ass a few too many times in Smash Bros. I only win because of the height difference. If he's even a little bit taller, it's over for me. Big tower, chill statue. I would be breaking it for at least a lifetime unless I had some explosives, but I'm assuming probably not. But actually, if it's not moving, I guess I could get some and come back. At that point, it would be too much of a hassle. It's loser's fallacy. My win rate will be determined by loser's fallacy. You can just do the same thing here. You need a very specific thing to destroy it. And I just don't think it's worth it after a while. It's a ghost. I don't need to fight it. It already died. Shark. Just a shark. Freaky floating purple ball thing. I'm gonna need a weapon. This one feels like cheating, but a big factor relies on if you can read mid-fight. Also, if it's in English, I'm fine. If it's in like Spanish or, does Dutch have a language? If it's in Dutch, I lose. I'm convinced Bonkers would destroy me. Bonkers has the face of someone who commits international transgressions. He's also a monkey. Is he gonna turn me into 10 tiny Choopos? He did it to Kirby. This is literally a lion that knows how to weightlift. It was over before it started. Kracko is a sentient lightning cloud. I don't like the sound of that. And then I feel just as bad when it gets venom powers. Even artificially, I don't think I'm making it out. Big stabby wheel. Again, just trust me on this one. Nah, I'd win. Same with you. Freaking insane primate. It's gonna, like, jump on my face like an aggressive chimp or some shit. Alien technology with the intention to destroy me. I'm not making it out of this one. Especially past phase 2, unless I have some, like, Looney Tunes BS. That's a big boy. So then to end it off, we got some weird ones. Master Hand and Crazy Hand. Most well-known bosses in Smash Bros, and these guys I can't help but ponder a bit. For those who don't know, Smash Bros has inconsistent power scaling and sizing, but it's also non-canon. I could go into the roster, but that's not important. What is the size of the hands that are in Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. And here, they're about 3 times the size of Kirby, so by that logic, they're only about 2 to 3 feet in size. They can float, they can team, but considering these are creatures of flesh and blood, probably, I think, I might just have it. And that just leaves us with tier 5. Alright, well shoot. You knew it was coming, it's Kirby. Why is this little freak so strong? I don't know, but a lot of the cast gets dragged into these wacky power scales along with the pink orb. I don't think just me, or honestly anyone, has a very good shot of fighting and taking down this bunch. Meta Knight, Galactonite, and Morpho Knight, some of the most powerful monsters feared all across the galaxy as absurdly powerful warriors. Not feeling too good. King DDD has that dog in him, that sauce, that raw essence of creature that's gonna wreck my feeble little fleshy flesh and skeleton. I could beat Baby Marks, I think. Otherwise, now it's over. Not as freaked out by Magolor, though. Gooey's made of dark matter, and I also fear where that tongue has been. It sure hasn't been cleaned. That's the face of an unholy tongue. The name alone is enough for me to back down. As far as I'm concerned, this is the Void. I will not be winning against the Void. These are variants of Kirby with RPG powers and abilities. This essentially translates to, these are Kirbs that don't lose their powers. It's still an L. Smash Bros. Gordo? I mean, sure, yeah, that's not too bad. But I've yet to kill one of these freaks in a Kirby game. When the sun explodes, all that will be left are the Gordos. How would I fight this? This is a whale. I need a ship and a harpoon, and at that point, I would rather ignore it. This is a ball of plasma. Don't know what I can do about that. That's 2 things that'll kill me. I am fighting the sun and the moon. This is not gonna go well. We all are gonna lose if they even approach me. I'm not going to space. They gotta come here. Why am I punching so many vehicles? I'm not winning against the train. I couldn't do it in GTA. It's not happening. Metal Mechs, I don't have faith in it. I don't have the money or power for militaristic self-defenses. And I feel like getting that much external help that's where I draw the line. This is a very rigged ranking, but it matters to me. Ah, sweet! Supernatural horrors beyond my comprehension! Wacktastical. It's either a tie or a loss, unless I throw it far, far away. It was over before it started. What the hell am I supposed to do against an airship? Go around it? Oh. What am I doing? They're scary. Fecto Forgo, the fusion of Fecto and Elfalin. One's a chinchilla, the other's a fetus. When separate, I'm okay. But no, I'm running away from these guys if I can. Shotzos are also indestructible. The only way to remove them is to knock them off the screen, which is not a feature in real life unless it's like standing above a canyon. The only even potential match is against a Cordo. In that case, we have a tie. I don't want to fight that, actually. And at the tippy top, I'm sure you're not shocked. The best of the best, Kirby. Nothing else of note, just plain old Kirby. He's small, round, durable, and has saved the universe against all the creatures below him. He has beaten all of them in at least one fight, or he's capable of it and he's sparing them. He is the most dangerous baby in anything ever. Kirby is known for being provoked over a strawberry shortcake. He has an entire pocket dimension in his tum-tum, and the fact of the matter is he can copy and master every single ability that he gets his grubby little stubs on. And all I can ask for is for a swift and painless death from the Curbster as possible, which I hope is never ever the case. I hate to admit it, but I think I might be going 50-50 with Kirby. Wow, what a ranking. I really am pretty strong. I bet I could be even stronger if I tried even. But don't worry everybody, I'll be using my powers for good unless someone wrongs me or I change my mind or I get bribed in such a way that it's an objective win for me to jump the ship. I don't think that's an issue though. I have no enemies except for the ones here. My personal demons. And as long as they don't get out, I should be able to live a long and happy life in peace and...